I spend the majority of my time trying to figure out how to help other people get what they're really after. I do this by speaking at events, writing books, working with coaching students, and sharing a lot of content. All of this creates a ton of questions from people that I can't always get back to, but now I can. This is the place to come where you ask your questions and I'll answer them.
This thing puffing out, making it look like I have
lady parts.
not even lady, like Madonna parts, the way that was puffing out. We ready?
Yeah, do your...
Oh, we're on right now, aren't we?
No, we're recording.
Sorry about that, guys. Okay. What's going on, everybody? Jared James here. Welcome to episode 8 of hashtag JJoffthecuff. It's been a little bit since we've done an episode. I'm not really sure why it's been a little bit. Why has it been a little bit? It's really the office's fault because they're supposed to remind me to shoot an episode and they have not done that. So I apologize. You can always ask your questions. Instagram, Twitter, at Jared James Today. Periscope too, right there, at Jared James Today. You can ask them on Facebook. You can ask them wherever you want. You ask them, I'll answer them. With that being said, guys, let's get into the first question.
Our first question is from Dan, and he says, what's the #1 time management tool that you would recommend using?
All right, Dan. So this is a question I get a lot. It's always the #1 this and the #1 that and that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of different tools. You know, there's a lot of apps and to-do lists and all of these kinds of things and timers people use and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to go a little bit of a different direction on this. Okay? I know you're looking for a tool, but quite frankly, you can go Google time management tools and you'll see a million of them. They're going to do exactly what I tell you. I don't think that's the issue. It's like you've heard me say over and over again. Time management. Time doesn't need managing. The #1 thing, though, that I think that you need to be aware of is self-awareness, right? So I had a coaching call yesterday. I can't remember if it was with our coaches or with the actual coaching students, and I gave an example and I said, look, just because your plate is full with a steak on it doesn't mean that your plate is full, right? That steak could have a lot of fat on it, that steak could have bone on it, that steak could have, just because your steak is full of plate doesn't mean you have a full meal. And that is, in my mind, the story of so many people, and maybe even you listening right now, is that so many people in their schedule think that their plate is full because they have so many different things going on. But the problem is there's so much fat that is included in that steak. There's so much fat that's included in that schedule. There's so much fat that's included in that full plate that they think that they have. And the truth is, you've got to learn to be a little bit more self-aware and kind of learn to cut away the fat, pull away the bone, and see what really matters every day. And quite frankly, no app is going to do that for you. We're always looking for these things to fix our problems and fix these things that just don't matter, when the truth is, you're the only one that can really do that, So what I would say is self-awareness, stop and look and say, what am I actually doing right now? What do I do every day that actually matters? I ran a Periscope thing recently where I was in the office early and I just said, what am I going to do today that matters? What are you going to do today that actually matters? Some people listening to this right now would be better off working 5 hours a day on things that actually matter instead of working 10 hours and wasting 5 hours of their day. So again, you can Google whatever app you want to look at. I could name a bunch of them, but I just don't think it's worthwhile. What I think you need to have is a little bit more self-awareness. That's the #1 app you could get right now. And figure out on that full plate that you have every day, what is the fat, where is the fat, what is the bone, get rid of that stuff and start focusing on what really matters. Good?
Yeah, tuck your shirt down. It keeps...
It's giving me Madonna boobs.
No, it's like a weird ripple you're getting.
I don't know. It's going to keep happening, though. It's a newer shirt. I don't know. Maybe it needs to be dry cleaned first.
Our next question is from Owen, one of our coaches. He says, other than direct contact with divorce attorneys, what ideas do you have to market to people starting the divorce process?
This is the fun one. Guys, we're marketing to divorce people. Any ideas yet? No?
No.
No? All right. Owen, one of our coaches. So, this question, like marketing to divorced people, I go 2 ways on this, okay? On one hand, I feel like sometimes we're a little touchy, like we don't want to talk about, you know, marketing to divorced people. We don't want to talk about marketing to people who have died. You know, we don't market to people who have died, obviously, but marketing to situations where people have died, where somebody, probably not the deceased, is going to sell the home. In divorces, obviously, people sell the home. But I think in the question it said something like outside of marketing to divorce attorneys. When quite frankly, I think that's the best way. I mean, what else are you going to do? When you talk about like Facebook ads and stuff, it's not like you're going to target, you know, a site where like married people cheat on each other on purpose. Didn't you say there was a site like that? What was it?
Ashley Madison.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to target Ashley Madison, because I'm pretty sure that those marriages aren't going to last. So outside of that, I really think it is divorce attorneys. I still think it is staying connected with people in your community, because the bottom line is many of your friends are going to get divorced. Many of the people in your community are going to get divorced. Outside of that, I hate this answer myself, to be completely honest, but there's not really much else you can do outside of that and still sleep at night. I mean, unless you're just going to go and start vicious rumors about your friends' spouses, and go start telling your friends that you saw him with some beautiful blonde and they were kissing when it's not true. So outside of like vicious rumors to break people up so that you can somehow sell their house when they're divorced, I really think divorced attorneys are still the way. Your Core 100 is still the way. Just staying connected with the people you know, staying connected to them. And I will give you a real answer though, okay? Which is, you have to ask the question. So networking groups in these places are the best place to get very specific with people. So when you go around it's a leads group, it's a networking group, and you go around the table and everybody says, this is what I have this week, here's what I'm looking for this week, here's what I have for other people this week. This is where I think a lot of people make a mistake, and they say, hey, as usual, I'm looking for anybody looking to buy or sell. I don't have anything for anybody this week, but blah, blah, blah. This is the point where you can get very specific. I remember when I was in lead groups back in the day, and the insurance person would come in every week, and the insurance person would come in and they would say, hey, I've got a lead for this person, that person, this person. This week I'm looking for people who graduated from UConn, who graduated from Quinnipiac. And they so made our mind go right to everybody we knew that graduated from Quinnipiac or UConn, because they had some special deal for those graduates, that I was like, oh, I know 3 people who graduated from UConn. Oh, I know this many. And they'd go around the table and end up with 18 leads, because all these people knew these people who graduated from these places. And now they had the ability to reach out, and somebody in between that knew them, that they wanted to say, hey, so-and-so is going to call you. And they're saying, look, it doesn't cost you anything to change your insurance, but I have special deals for people at UConn. Do you want me to see if I can get you a better rate than you're doing now? And they would get leads that way. Maybe a marketing or a networking group or a leads group is a place where on certain weeks you say, hey guys, this week I'm looking for anybody you know who's going through the terrible situation of getting divorced. Hey, this week I'm going through, the next week you go and you say, this week I'm looking for anybody you know who might have had somebody who died in the family or something that I could help out. This week I'm looking for people who have just gotten engaged. This week, and you start getting very specific within your networking, your lead groups. That's probably the much more real answer than targeting Ashley Madison on Facebook or something like that, okay? Even answer that, like,
I was going to say, aside of joining like a
start vicious rumors about the couples you hang out with. Maybe you can break them up and create a little business along the way,
Seriously.
Yeah.
And our last question is from Debbie, and she says, what's your favorite thing to do when you aren't working?
All right, favorite thing to do when I'm not working? That's a good question. I got to think about that. Sleep, yeah. What's the name?
Debbie Strong.
All right. Debbie Strong, my favorite thing to do when I'm not working. I'm not going to go with the obvious, because, look, this is the time when we start the slow music, and Jared's a great guy, and I tell you all about how I love to hang out with my wife and my kids. That's the obvious answer. I mean, the truth is I skip a lot of golf. I skip a lot of other things because I like hanging out with my kids and my wife and doing things like that. That's the God's honest truth, okay? But I'm going to give you a different answer, okay? Because it's almost like a setup, okay? Probably my favorite things to do when I am not working outside of like, I like taking care of my lawn, but the answer is probably nothing. I like to at sometimes just do, I'm not a very talkative person outside of work. I'm kind of, in fact, I like to do things where I don't have to talk. I like to do things where there's no focus on me. I like to do things where it's just nothing, like just relax, just sit down and watch a dumb movie. Just, you know, read something. I just like to do stuff like that, just separate from, you know, a lot of you can relate to this because a lot of you are in real estate or sales or something like that, and on a regular basis you have to be on all the time. And it's not that there's something wrong with being on, but it just takes a certain amount out of you. And just like a car has to sit in the garage for the night, every once in a while when you just want to get away from everybody and just kind of recharge, you know, so that you can be your best self for people going forward. That is outside of, you know, hanging out with my kids, hanging out with my wife, doing things like that, seeing some good friends occasionally. Sometimes I just like to do good old nothing. Good.
Okay.
Can you guys agree with that, Periscope people? Like, don't you just like to do nothing sometimes? Just watch a stupid movie and laugh even though, you know, whatever, or just, you know, I don't know, lay by the pool. Get yourself a beer or wine cooler or water, whatever your thing is, or, you know, I like to mow the lawn. It's refreshing for me. Yeah, reading books, doing whatever. I mean, for me, it's refreshing, like to just do something that just doesn't matter. I don't always want to talk to people. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but it's just the truth. So.